Welcome to the Daily Dose, and my name is Jay Barnard, and we are going to knock it out of the park with some tips, tricks, and solutions to your recovery and the new superpower, which is recovery. We got Mr. Carl Heath coming in all the way from Edmonton, Alberta today. Carl Heath is a part of the Empower to Recover Foundation, non-for-profit, and has had the privilege of traveling with us in the last 5 stops. He's also the program director, the fundraiser, and he also has his own alternative way to recovery. Believe it or not, that's what it's called, Alternative Way, the Alternative Network. Mr. Carl Heath, welcome to the Daily Dose.
Hey, I'm awesome, Jay. Awesome. And this is, such an honor to really share a wealth of experience for me, 35 years as a former sportsman, coach, and mentor. So I would say the last 27 years I've worked in human biology, stress, human biology, behavior, and my own concept on human technology. But my philosophy, the art skill system with EnergyWise University of Life, and that's EnergyWise with a Z, WIZE.ca, is my philosophy is really through life experience of awareness, having the awareness to recognize reaction from response. A lot of us are getting stuck in our heads in today's world. We're not in our heart. This is where we do the processing. And awareness, release, and tools, art. The R is the most important, release. Having a release.
The R is the release.
The R, release. So you know what? And what I share, especially when I do talks in schools with young people, is finding your passion for movement. So for me, movement, and as you know, Jay, I share that when I do my talk. Movement is medicine, and you can get high on your own supply, but the key is to find your passion through movement. And I teach this when we work with kids with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or with boxing. Really, for me, a martial art is really when you find out about yourself and you develop a foundation. So, you know, getting high on your own supply is really looking at your natural neuro feel-good chemicals. And the key is endorphins, those painkillers that once you get in the gym and you learn to push through the process, the energy in motion, and you have that release, that's where you get to activate the senses and feel high and feel that kind of activation, which is what I share. And that's the kind of chain effect of when we start to look at the dopamine, getting the dopamine and the serotonin through food, through walking, through grounding, but most importantly, the reward, not through technology and getting likes on social media, the reward of going through the process.
Movement is medicine, not likes on social media.
Exactly, but going through the process, the chain effect. And the big one is, I would say for recovery, is the oxytocin, the love that we develop for ourselves. When you fill your cup up, you can learn to pour it. So what I teach with
kindness
movement,
and compassion, eh?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about, you got the tips, tricks, and solutions. What about like 3 minutes on, your breakthrough that got you to where you're at today? I think it's important that people hear that, within a couple of minutes, your breakthrough.
Absolutely.
What happened? What drove you to where you are today? And then obviously it sounds like you're a foreign person, so it sounds like you've come across from, I suspect, the UK or something like that. So
I'm from the UK. I've been in Canada 10 years, but what I share is I grew up in a children's home, so I grew up in separation, a lot of fear, anxiety. My main breakthrough really came when I was around the age of 17, and I'd kind of really stopped moving the body and got caught up in life on the street. It was when I, a long distance runner at school, it was when I got back into my running, was when I went through a mental breakdown, but most importantly, the energy emotion, I went through an emotional breakthrough. And that's what I share in my book, activating that flow, connecting to the universe. And I would say drug culture in the 1980s was big with ecstasy, a lot of drugs. And that's why I say get high on your own supply, because when I had my second breakdown, I learned to get that time, go running, have a meeting with myself and start to go through my own personal process, this emotion and what I needed to do from the journey back from the head to the heart. But boxing was my biggest shift in 1997, boxing amateur and professional. But the release, like I share, release and recharge is when you have an outlet like boxing, you hold a lot of stress in your upper body. We don't process mentally in our heads, we process emotionally from the heart. So a lot of us are feeling emotion. We're not dealing with emotion. We're in a reactive mind loop. When we become responsive, and we develop the ability to respond, we learn to move the energy. So with BoxWise, when I started developing it in 1997, I started teaching kids how to control, release, and channel emotional stress and physical energy positively through BoxWise. And BoxWise is that it's boxing with a wisdom. Experience teaches wisdom. And once you start to kind of really learn to move that energy, you start to learn to grow, develop a foundation, but most importantly, learn about yourself. And that's what's happening in the world today. A lot of people feel separate, they're not in their hearts, and they don't have a strong foundation for life. So for me, good foundation and skills for life is the key. And that's what I do with BoxWise.
So you're talking about movement is medicine, medicine is movement. Hey, that's like the MM, not M&M. Movement is medicine. And I'm going to agree with you 100% because you have seen in the last 14 weeks, I have moved and used my own supply and I've come down 50 pounds because of using movement as medicine, right? So also with the philosophy of energy wise and box wise, why don't you talk a little bit about your book that you wrote a book, and that's kind of how you and I met. You were writing a book, and then we just really went to town on this Empower to Recover Foundation, amazing platform.
Literally went to town. Town to town.
So yeah, talk about the book. What inspired you to write the book?
Well, I came to Canada in 2012. My son was born, and I would go through adversity coming to Canada in 2012 because I had to go through the immigration process, but also having a boy and going through the challenges. The domino effect of life was really not, the greatest relationship is with yourself, but when you want to kind of start family and you've not really got the skills, all the tools, you kind of things break up. So coming to Canada, I had a second chance at being a dad. And by the age of 6, my son had taken me through a deep process. So I'd really had the opportunity to do the deeper healing with my son. And around the age of 6, I got told to write my book. And I didn't know how that looked, but within 2 weeks, my book came in. And around the age of 6 was when I went into the children's home. So I knew that from 0 to 6, my son had taken me on a really deep process, activating flow. And it's got a new cover now, as you know, Jay.
Yeah, this is, well, hey, this one must be
original.
This is an original. The
original. But the 18 chapters, so the 18 chapters with activating flow, releasing the power within, came in 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, it came in through the very flow that I write about. Really, the book's about the 3 stages of activating flow. How we, the wounded child, but how we end up in reaction through the way we grow up, products of the environment, and lack of love, separation, and just reaction responses that many of us need to take the journey back to the heart. And for me, movement was the shift, moving that energy in motion, and learning to process through life experience. Like I always say, Jay, is that the greatest challenge is getting out your own way. And when you're in the flow, is when you're not in the overthinking, reactive mind. You're in the heart, you're moving, you're in your power, and you're really kind of living more purposeful. You've got direction, and that's what I did through my book. So, yeah, I share the 3 stages: reaction, response, and the universe. We're in an electromagnetic universe. We are electromagnetic. We're just separated. And like Dr. Wayne Dyer says, because you like Dr. Wayne, how corroded is your link, is your connection. People call it God. People call it source. For me, it's a God, it's a goodness, but it's really all about being in your heart and connecting.
Dr. Wayne Dyer's the man. Manifesting meditation is a great Audible book to read as well. So if you're listening and you want to check out some Audible books, manifesting meditation is a great one.
Absolutely.
So let's talk quick and short about E2RF and the coming together of that, and then end it with your new superpower, which is recovery, and how you look at that. So Empower to Recover, you got a minute. What do you think about Empower to Recover?
Well, I met this crazy guy from Canada on a Zoom one day, and I looked at this guy and I saw his heart was big as a lion, and I thought, there can't be 2 of us, 2 crazies on the same planet wanting to go out there and help people who are suffering, who are struggling, with my experience and with your experience, it just made me realize that there's somebody out there with a program. You've lived it, you've gone through it, but you'd also developed a program. And that's what I've done for a lot of years. I've been on the self-discovery, the journey of healing and recovery for so many years, which I share in my book. So when I met you, it was a calling. And we've done 5 events in 1 year. And for me, you're really challenged. But when you're really challenged in the kind of process that you're in, you know that there's a greater good happening. And we've had the opportunity to help so many people. And recovery, you know...
Well, speaking of recovery, what is the new, because we're going to be closing it out here, but what is the new superpower recovery for you to tell the listeners? So the listeners listening to this, watching this later today or this week, your new superpower is recovery. What would you give? What's a suggestion you would give them? One suggestion.
Well, we've got E2R, Empowered to Recover. It's what resonates with you. And what allows you to heal is a resonance within you that helps you move on a deeper level, that allows you to do the deep dive. So alternative ways to recover, as we know, there are so many ways. Healing, if it's shamanic sweat lodges, vision quest. So you've got to find what resonates with you. And we're building that as a platform. There is just so many awesome people that we've had the opportunity to connect with over the last year. And I've healed through my own. So I'm self-educated.
Awesome. Awesome. This is Mr. Carl Heath. He's from Edmonton, Alberta. He is a part of the Empower to Recover Foundation. He does have a book called Activating Flow Energy Wise. You can catch us at the next events going all across Canada. You can check us out on our website, www.empowertorecover.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Dose, and we'll see you next week.